Well, now he's definitely listening by the door. I would.
If I hear I would probably too.
Today we're here to talk about the Otaku Mentality. Yes. So we had an incident. We had an encounter with another otaku. Not that we could really call ourselves otaku. I don't know. I don't think I'm otaku enough to be an otaku.
I think you're otaku because you do fan art.
I thought we had decided that makes me a bleep. But I do fan art.
He said do. And it's like, we have to go to the comic book store, the creepy one.
It's not creepy.
That one dude is kind of creepy.
No, he's amazing. Amazing.
Amazing.
I hurt him.
Okay. Anyway.
He makes the comic. Feels the comics. He is the comics. He is comics.
Anyway. We were there and...
Not like the other one who's like, I got some more comics like Drain if you want to check them out.
Don't bring up Drain. This is not the time for that.
It's not the time for Drain.
It's not the time for Drain.
So nevertheless, I dragged her kicking and screaming into the comic book store.
And what did we hear when we entered? We heard girlies talking.
That does not happen too often in the comic book store. I don't know about like...
The comic stores you go to.
Anime or manga stores, but in the comic book store, it is clearly testosterone zone only.
I'm sure that they pay with testosterone and not cash when we're not around.
They pay in grunts.
They pay in her manliness.
Look at my chest hair. That's 2 comic books worth. Thank you.
Okay. Anyway, so we heard girls, and we're like, oh... Girls, we don't. And so then we like peek around the corner because there are shelves. They're just like upright shelves. And I see 2 girls from one of my classes. And I'm like, Manda, these are the girls from my classes. I don't remember their names because it's only the second week. And I'm like, Manda, I know these girls from class. And I say this really loudly.
And this store is maybe like 12 foot by 12 foot.
We can see the cash register and we can see them. And that is their line of vision. Like, that's all there is. And they look into their little cabinet, and they're not looking at us. And I'm like, Manda, these girls are in my non-fiction class.
And I'm like, they're in your class? These 2 girls?
And they refuse to turn around. And they just keep shuffling through their books.
So shuffling through the used section of the comics, which is purely manga. It's their only manga section at all.
The only manga in that comic book store.
And so they're shuffling, and then finally Blanca says...
What did I say?
Hello?
No, and so I'm like, hey, you guys!
Go join your friends, you wiggles!
Hey, you guys!
And then they finally turn around because they realize there's only 2 other people in the store, and obviously we must be talking to them. And then they turn around, and they just stare at me. No recognition that I've been in their class for the past 2 weeks.
And yeah, so we paid for our wares. We left.
And then I go to class the next day, and they don't speak to me. They don't even register that I'm there. They talk about the comic book store that they found. They found.
Found the comic book
They found.
Mind you, this is like on the middle of a street, of like a main strip, a main drag in the city, and
yeah,
it's not hard to find. It says comics!
And they didn't even mention, you know, hey, we saw Blanca there, or what were you doing there? No. We found a comic book store, and that was the end of their conversation.
So... Blanca was all, like, butthurt about this. Oh my god, they're so rude, and they didn't like me, and what is it? I'm like, then I was thinking, this is a clear example of the otaku mentality. You know, you're sitting there, and then you hear someone say something to you. They can't possibly be speaking to you because you're just not worth words. And then they say it again, and God forbid you actually turn around and say, hey, and they're not talking to you, even though you're the only two people in the world. So you've shut yourself down. I am not worthy. I am not worthy. There is no way anybody could be talking to me. I'm going to stay and pretend like I didn't hear them, even though they are right behind me and their feet are practically touching our butts.
Because they were squatting. They were literally squatting.
So that's a little bit about the otaku mentality.
So if somebody calls you from behind, please turn around and say hello.
But if we call you from behind, I get it. I understand. So that's our tidbit of today. And happy not looking back. I think the sound is off.
Sound is off.
Say something really long.
Bah!
Maybe not.